Hey there, it's Crafty Jennabug. So you may be wondering why I have 3 mason jars here. And I'm going to tell you. I recently participated in the Ephemera series. If you don't know what that is, it is a daily ephemera inspiration list full of prompts that goes on for the month of December. It was hosted by Louisa Heinzel and 49 Dragonflies. And basically you have different prompts and you make a piece of ephemera for your junk journal each day based on the prompt. It got me thinking. I had so much fun creating ephemera for Ephemera that I didn't want it to end. I decided to make my own randomized prompts. So my plan is, I have 3 mason jars here, and I'm going to label 1 material, 1 ephemera, and 1 focal point. And I'm going to take a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm going to write different items based on those criteria and stick them in the mason jars, and then pull from each one to figure out what kind of ephemera to make and how to make it. For instance, in material, I could have things like different types of paper, acetate, cardstock, dyed paper, all the way down to like real leaves or like anything, glitter, something that I have to incorporate into a piece of ephemera. For the ephemera jar, I can put different types of ephemera, envelopes, tags, loaded tags, specimen cards, etc. And then focal point could be anything from animals to plants to food, whatever. People, like something to be the focal point of that piece. So I'm going to go ahead and start making some of the prompts and throwing them in the jars, and that way I can get started on one of these projects. I'm going to go ahead and label my jars and start writing out some prompts and putting them in the appropriate jars. Alright, so now that you've seen how I've made these jars, I want to make some ephemera using these. And the ephemera I specifically want to make is for my January 2023 junk journal that I've been working in. The color scheme for that journal are blues, silver, white, gray, little other splashes of color. So that's the color scheme I'm going to stick with. And we'll see where this takes us. So let's start off by pulling from... I will start by pulling a few prompts out and then going from there. So we're starting with ephemera. So what ephemera types should I make today? I have a leaflet. Okay. What else? Oh, 2 fell out. Multi-pockets. Okay. And a coin envelope. All right. Should I leave it at that? 3 different pieces of ephemera, leaflet, multi-pockets, and coin envelope. All right. Material. Oh, I grabbed a couple of things. First, we have colored pencil. Next, we have polka dots. Okay, and one more. Beads. Okay. Okay. And then I'll pull out 3 focal points or themes. This is kind of random. Alright. I mean, it's prompts. Of course it's random. I ended up pulling 2 out, so we will go with house. No, square we've already done. flower. And last, oh, that one is 2. Leaves. All right, I went through my stash and I found a piece of paper that I have not pulled yet, or that I had not pulled yet for this project. Polka dots. And this actually has this amazing glitter detail. It has glitter edging all around it, which I will probably lose. But I don't want to use this part for this necessarily. So I'm going to cut that off. The sheet, I'm following a tutorial by Joey DeFee on YouTube. And she uses a sheet of paper roughly this size. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have this preserved for something else. Not sure what yet, but I liked it so much. It could make a cool like pocket or tuck spot or something. So this has this on the back, which is really cool, but not necessarily what I need. She started by folding her paper in quarters. Granted, she recommended you use a thin paper. This is not a thin paper, unfortunately. I had to make things difficult. And then I want this to be the top corner. So that'll be my top left corner. Okay. So over here I will make a big fold. I'm almost taking it to the crease. Okay, and then down here I will make the smallest fold. And then I flip it over and make this corner a fold that is between these two sizes. Okay. And then I have to cut it along this crease. So the next thing you do is you fold this over. Wait, no, I'm sorry. You fold this up. And then this over. And then this over. I can also decorate it. Ooh, I could make that a pocket across the bottom. Okay. All right. That's what we'll do. So, this is gonna be my pocket. And what I need to do now is take some... So this is what I meant when the prompt that said multi-pockets. It's a pocket with multiple pockets. Now, I've got to glue it down. She's recommended a dot of glue under each flap and then folding it and gluing a little bit here. Actually, I need to glue. I'm not sewing this, so I need to glue all along that. And then along here. And then along here. Then I wanted to make this the bottom pocket, which is not part of her tutorial, but I'm feeling froggy. Alright, and that's going to be my polka dot piece. So while that dries, I'm going to work on another piece of ephemera. Alright, so for simplicity's sake, I've done a multi-pocket and I've used polka dots, so I can check those two things off. Now, I'm not necessarily making 3 pieces of ephemera using one thing from each. I'm just kind of rolling with it and going with how I'm inspired to make things. I just wanted to get some ideas to start with, basically. So next, I want to make a coin envelope. And this coin envelope, I'm going to use this scrap of paper that I have used for the junk journal. Alright, so in order to make this coin envelope, I'm going to fold this piece up to about here, and then this piece, I don't want to take it all the way to this piece. I want to leave a bit of room, see? Then I could just glue up the sides. I think I was going to cut and fold up the side, but I think I would rather use some washi tape. Maybe this? That is very garish. Maybe this, because I'm going to decorate this with a house. And the house is roughly this blue. So the house I'm going to use to decorate this is on this piece of scrapbook paper, and it's this house here. I'm just going to cut it out and glue it on there, maybe a little collage. So this blue is close to this blue. I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do splatters for snow. Alright, I covered up the house with a little piece of scrap paper. Got some white acrylic paint, some water. Okay, so now it's a snowy house. I'm going to dry it with my heat gun, and then we'll flip it over and do something to the back. Alright, so that is so that's my snowy little house scene. Cute. And on the back, I have these little circles, and I was thinking about just gluing this down partially so that I could slip it underneath. I'm going to put glue just on half of it, and I'm going to make sure that the half that does not have glue on it is what is actually touching here. I just want a little bit of overlap. So that's gotta dry. But that takes care of 2 more of my prompts. Coin envelope and house. So a leaflet. So that will be my leaflet. And what I want to do with it is dye it. So I gotta get my workstation set up for that. And I'll be right back. Okay, I had considered just spraying these with some distress sprays and calling it good. But I still have colored pencils to use. I have these Derwent Inktense water-soluble ink pencils, which, I mean, they're colored pencils. I'm gonna color on these a little bit with these colored pencils. And I'm gonna pull out, I've got 4 different blues here. I've got iris blue, sea blue, bright blue, and deep indigo. And I'm gonna just play around and scribble on these pages and see what happens after I spray them with some water and blend them. So all I am doing is destroying the integrity of this paper. So this isn't gonna work the way I wanted it to. And that's okay. I have given up on the colored pencils for this endeavor, but I have not given up on them entirely. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring out the distress sprays. Alright, these have been dried, mostly. Yeah, pretty dry. They're nigh completely dry. And I think I want to flip them over. I want to try smearing some of this tumbled glass distress ink on them. I am making sure that they are very dry before I do that, though. Alright, so I have put these together to make a little leaflet. And I'm going to staple. Let's see how far my stapler will go. So I'm just going to kind of... So now I've got a little leaflet. Now I'm going to decorate it. Let's see. So leaflet, check. I need to use colored pencils, beads, flowers, and leaves to decorate things. So I'll use my colored pencils to write on it. Alright, I have figured out what I want to do with this leaflet. I don't necessarily want to decorate the inside. I might, but I have spent a couple hours playing with my Cricut machine, making different die cuts. I have these leaves that I want to glue to the front. And I also have this, while it doesn't really fit the color scheme because there's gold instead of silver, it is snowflakes on this washi tape. And I think I want to line the edge of this. Alright, I gotta let that dry. I don't know how much of that you saw, I was very zoomed in. But I gotta let this dry and we'll check it out when it's all done doing that. In the meantime, let's see. That one, I mean, technically I used colored pencil and leaves, but I definitely want to do a bit more. So flower, beads, and colored pencil. I guess I could make a flower. So I glued together these 3 flowers from magazine cutouts. And I want to add beads to the center part. So I have a bunch of seed beads that I have picked out in various different colors. All right, I'm gonna let those dry, then we'll be back to check them out. Okay, everything has dried. I've got a few new pieces of ephemera for my journal. This multi-pocket has pocket here in the front, pocket here, here, and here. This coin envelope does not have anything in it yet, but it's super cute. This little leaflet I wrote using my colored pencils on the first page, just talking about how I've started a January junk journal series. I plan to decorate pages in it daily for the entire month of January. My eventual goal is to make a journal for each month, all with daily decorating. So a lofty goal, and I can write in here a little bit more as time goes by. And then the 3 flowers. Very cool. You can see the beads I glued into the center. There are the beads in the centers. I really like the way these turned out. So, I think I satisfied the last of the prompts. Colored pencil, I went and used a bit more. I also outlined a little here. So I checked that one off already. Beads I used. And flower I used. I made 3 flowers. So I've used all of the prompts that I wanted to use for this video. But the whole point of this was to make things to go into the pockets that I already have. And I didn't really do much of that. I've got 2 things that can go in pockets. I've got one thing that can attach to a page, or it could go into a thick pocket. I just made more stuff that needs stuff to go in it. So these are just going to get glued to the page also. I could glue that on there. Not sure yet where these will go, but I will put them aside to be used when I need a little something for a page. Sheesh. What have I done? So now that I've made more pockets and nothing to go in them. All right. So I want to make more ephemera, more things to go in pockets and stuff like that. So I went through my scrap box and I found things that could potentially work for this project, and the color scheme and things like that. Of course, there's these little scraps. It could be like tickets or something, tags. Let me group them by size, roughly. Something I can just stamp on and cut out. Blue book page. Piece of notebook paper. So, just a few little things that I can play around with. This, actually, is like the perfect size to go in here. So that's where we'll start. Okay, before I get started on that, I just brought out a piece of plain copy paper and I pulled out a bunch of stamps that I'm just gonna stamp on this paper and figure out what to do with. Okay, so I have a lot of supplies that I received from various different people. I did not purchase them. I have no idea where they initially came from. This is one of those things. So this is a stamp. It says it's from Club Scrap, and I've never heard of them. It's literally just the rubber stamp unbacked, and I don't know if you're supposed to cut these out and back them and use them, or what exactly. If you know what this is about, let me know. I've got a couple of them. But this quote here is a J.R.R. Tolkien quote, and I love The Lord of the Rings, so I want to include it. It says, "All we have to decide is what to do with the time that's given to us." And I'm going to just ink that up and stamp that. I think I'm just going to use this little blue stamp pad so that I can be precise. So then, what else did I want to do? I have these Glitz Design stamps. Glitz It Now. Laced with Grace. It says ST2624, if that means anything to anyone. But I definitely want a ticket at least. And I might do the finger. And this would be a neat back. So I'm going to stamp a few of these. Now I can carry on with this. So I wanted this to go on the back. I'm going to use some frayed burlap to distress this. Ooh, I love it. I mean, it's very indistinguishable, very random, but I love it. Okay, that needs to dry. Okay, next, I have this. I like it a lot for, I mean, this kind of looks like a tag topper. I also have this, which it's not quite the right color scheme. Definitely not on the back, so that needs to be backed. I think I'm going to let these things dry and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with them. Alright, these have all dried. This, for now, I made this to fit in here. So it will go into its new home. Now that it's in there, I can't close it quite the same. Okay. This piece of ephemera is complete. Hey, it just needs to find a home in the journal, which I will do closer to the end of this video. This, I have decided to back in this gray script paper. Okay, this will need to be trimmed. For now, I'm going to stick it under something with this on top of it so it doesn't stick. And then I printed out, I did an internet search and printed out a few poems that are wintry and January related, things like that. This one, I think, I found this Victor Hugo quote. It says, "Winter is on my head, but eternal spring is in my heart." And that's kind of how I feel. I love spring. And I want it to go on here. Okay, so that's another piece of ephemera down. Alrighty. Next, this piece. I backed it with this paper, and it's going to get this quote: "Winter is the time for comfort, for good food and warmth, for the touch of a friendly hand, and for a talk beside the fire. It is the time for home. And that is quoted to Edith Sitwell. I like it right here, but I think I want it to be backed by something that is the almost perfect size. Awesome. Yes, okay, well that's very, very fortunate. I wanted the little blue things to peek out behind it, so that works for me. I'm not. Okay, that's another piece of ephemera down. Cranking them out now. So then there's this one. I know for a fact, well, okay, so this one, I backed it in a silvery paper, and I want it to stick out up here. Either like this. Yeah, I want it to stick out this way because it is bringing more blue. There's a lot of gray going on here. It's also why I made my ticket on a blue page. And then I've got two more really tight pockets. So, what to do to this that won't make it really thick? Okay, so I glued this poem onto this one. It's Winter Eyes by Douglas Florian. It says, look at winter with winter eyes as smoke curls from rooftops to clear cobalt skies. Breathe in winter past winter nose, the sweet scent of black birch where velvet moss grows. Walk through winter with winter feet on crackling ice or sloshy wet sleet. Look at winter with winter eyes, the rustling of oak leaves as spring slowly nears. I'm going to let that dry, and we'll stick it in that pocket. So that's another piece of ephemera down. Some of which are only going into another piece of ephemera. When I was doing my internet search, I came across a few things that I knew I had to print out and include. The first, on Pinterest, I found these on Pinterest. The first thing is this watercolor image of birds on a winter day. I don't know if you can see that very well. There we go. This image, it's a piece of watercolor art that was offered in a free printable. I can include the link if you want to get this for yourself. I'm going to just back it on some cardstock because I printed it out on regular copy paper. And then it will be a piece of ephemera. And I also found a series of postcards that had winter scenes on them. I printed them out on cardstock, but they are gorgeous and they will look so good hanging out in these pockets. And I probably will not do much to them. They, can be journal cards. This one says, traveling through the California mountains in wintertime on the rim of the world highway. This one is Natural Bridge in Winter, Virginia. Capitol in Winter, Washington, D.C. I may not use that one because it doesn't strike me like the other ones do. We'll see. Winter Scenes of American Falls, Niagara Falls. This is the one that made me say, I have to put these out. Niagara in Winter, American Falls from Maid of Mist Landing. And The Lodge, Romantic Alta near Salt Lake City, Utah. This one I'm also not as in love with, but I have it just in case. So these are some easy, I didn't have to make, of pieces of ephemera. I'm just organizing these better so that the ones I don't care for as much are in the back. So this I'm going to back on some cardstock. These 4 items fulfill all 9 prompts that I pulled out of the prompt jars. We have colored pencil being used in this one, and a little bit of an underline down here, polka dots and beads on the flowers, the leaflet, multi-pockets, coin envelope, house, flower, and leaves. So all 9 prompts have been completed. So these are ephemera pieces that need to now go in here, which is what I will do. But I also have some other pieces of ephemera I made. This little ticket is going to go in this multi-pocket. This tag. I have a few more tags. This I also want to go in here. And I also have this stack of fake postcards. So I've got some work cut out for me. Now I may wait to put the multi-pocket in until I have a page to design around it. The idea was and the flowers. The idea was for me to make ephemera to go in pockets and tuck spots, which I could do with that. I do have a few tuck spots. That might work. I did want this little leaflet to go here. Let's see. I know these flowers. I know where I want one of those flowers to go. This. Maybe. Maybe for now. And then, let's see. I want one of these flowers to go on here. Well, if I put that in now, I will have to let it dry before I can do anything else. So we'll come back to this. I definitely want that to go there though. So we'll come back. Right now I'm filling pockets. Getting ahead of myself. So I have more ephemera than I have pockets. Awesome. Yes. For now, I can just set all these to the side and have them for when I need them. That makes me happy. I think for now I will call that piece completed. It can be glued down onto a journal page, or I can just leave it in this front tuck spot, which I will do for now until I find something to do with it, if I do anything with it. So that leaves me with a few more pieces of ephemera, like I said, to utilize in here. Awesome. I like having some pre-made ephemera. I also enjoy making ephemera as needed. And then that leaves me with this. So I really like this as it is. I thought about doing some collage, but I don't think it needs it. I think that works. So let's get to gluing it down. Now I managed to decorate a page too. So then I can tuck something here. Once it's dry, I can tuck something here, and I can tuck something here. Cool. And I think that looks really pretty there. This was challenging in a way that Ephemera wasn't. With Ephemera, I was given prompts and I could run in whatever direction. I didn't have to stick to a color scheme or a theme at all. It was just make the ephemera. And in that way, it was a little easier. This, using these prompt jars, I really had to stick with a theme, which was fun and challenging, just not as easy, you know. I had to work within the constraints of the theme and color scheme. So that was an interesting element to the challenge that I didn't really anticipate overall, I'm really pleased with the things I made. I know I did kind of, I don't want to say cop out, but I did go hunting for some ephemera to kind of make my job a little easier preparing things for this journal. I have a lot of pockets, and I just made 2 more tuck spots essentially right there. And one of the pieces of ephemera had 4 pockets, and the whole point of this was to make things to go in the tuck spots and the pockets and the belly bands that I've already created. So kind of messed that up a little bit, but I'm not mad. I'm just enjoying this creative process as it comes, and really just reveling in all the junk journal goodness. I'm having a lot of fun. I really do like pushing myself creatively and experimenting with different things. So yeah, this is great. I'm loving it. Thank you for going on this journey with me. I am really excited to see what this series that I'll be working on all year will bring. I appreciate you watching this video. I will include links to the Pinterest pages where I found some of these free printables down below in case you're interested in checking them out. Time to clean up my desk and let this dry. So thank you again for watching. Hope you have a great day. Bye.